Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into something that literally keeps you alive every single day you're on the road, your brakes. But here's the thing. Mixing up brake pads and brake shoes when it's time for a service, that is a remarkably costly and potentially dangerous mistake. They are completely different beasts, and you really need to know exactly what's stopping your vehicle.
So let me just ask you right off the bat. Do you actually know what type of brakes your car has? If you're blasting down the highway, you're trusting that stopping system with your life. But surprisingly, most drivers have no clue what's going on behind their wheels. Well, we're going to change that right now.
Okay, let's dive into this. First, understanding disc brakes, then understanding drum brakes. We'll do a quick pads versus shoes comparison, figure out how to identify your car's brakes, and wrap up with wear signs and maintenance.
Section 1. Understanding disc brakes. So, what exactly is a brake pad?
Well, the whole disc brake system centers around a completely flat metal rotor that spins directly with your wheel. The brake pad itself is a flat, friction-creating component. When you need to stop, two of these pads are literally squeezed against either side of that spinning metal rotor. Think of an old-school record player, but instead of a tiny needle, you've got two thick blocks clamping down hard on the spinning record to slow it down. That's the core concept.
When you step on the brake pedal, a hydraulic caliper acts exactly like a heavy-duty clamp. It physically squeezes those flat brake pads against the flat metal rotor. All that friction bleeds off the kinetic energy and stops your car. It's a beautifully simple, exposed, and incredibly effective design.
So the crucial point is why this design is so dominant today. And it comes down to one thing: heat. Because the rotor is wide open to the air, heat escapes incredibly fast. Brakes generate massive amounts of heat, and if they get too hot, they experience brake fade, meaning they literally stop working. Because disc brakes cool off so efficiently, they can handle repeated aggressive stops without fading at all. And that superior performance is exactly why you'll find them standard on all four corners of almost every modern passenger car.
Section 2. Understanding drum brakes.
Now, enter the brake shoe. Unlike the flat pads we just looked at, brake shoes are curved friction blocks. And instead of clamping down on an open disc, they're entirely hidden away. They sit completely enclosed inside a hollow metal drum that spins with the wheel. Because they're trapped inside, they can't clamp inward. They actually have to expand outward to stop the vehicle.
To make that happen, a hydraulic wheel cylinder activates inside the drum the second you hit the pedal. It violently shoves those curved shoes outward, pressing them incredibly hard against the inner wall of that spinning hollow drum. The friction against that inner wall brings the whole wheel to a halt.
But here is the absolute genius of the drum brake, and really the main reason they haven't gone extinct. Because the metal drum is spinning, as the shoe makes contact, the rotation actually grabs the shoe and pulls it even tighter against the wall. It creates this brilliant self-energizing system, meaning you need way less hydraulic force from your foot to generate immense stopping power. It's an incredible bit of engineering that keeps drum brakes relevant, especially for rear and parking brakes.
Section 3. Pads versus shoes comparison.
Let's put them head-to-head. Stopping power? Disc brakes and pads are the clear winner, with a much stronger, consistent bite. Heat management? Pads take it again, hands down, because that drum simply traps heat like an oven. But durability? Boom! Shoes take the crown. Tucked away in the lower stress rear of the car, they can easily last up to 70,000 kilometers. And cost? Drum hardware is definitely cheaper. So, pads dominate performance, but shoes absolutely win on longevity and your wallet.
Section 4. Identifying your car's brakes. You can figure out what your car is running in about 30 seconds. Seriously, try this today. Step 1. Just crouch down next to your wheel. Step 2. Peer right through the gaps on the wheel spokes. Step 3. Look at what's back there. If you see a shiny, flat metal disc pinched by a caliper, you've got pads. But if you see a smooth, solid, round metal hub with no disc anywhere in sight, that's a drum, which means you're rolling on shoes.
To give you a bit of a cheat sheet, most modern passenger cars run discs all around. Budget cars or older models usually mix it up. Discs up front for the heavy lifting and drums on the rear to keep manufacturing costs down. And if you drive a ute or a heavy commercial rig, you will very likely find drums on the rear, specifically to take advantage of that self-energizing mechanical grip when you're hauling a heavy load.
Section 5. Wear signs and maintenance.
Okay, do not ignore these warning signs because they are safety critical. Now, brake pads are actually pretty polite. They feature a little metal indicator tab that will literally start squealing against the rotor to warn you they're low. Plus, they have a machined groove in the center. If you look and that groove is gone, the pad is toast. Brake shoes, though, they are hidden in a metal drum. You can't just visually check them. You have to rely on terrifying grinding noises, noticeably longer stopping distances, or your car yanking to one side when you brake.
So what's the hard limit? For brake pads, your absolute threshold is between 3 to 4 millimeters of thickness. The second you hit 3 to 4 mil, you are done. Pull the trigger on replacement, no exceptions.
To make sure you catch them before they hit that dangerous limit, burn this number into your brain: 20,000 kilometers. That's the golden service interval for getting in there and visually checking your brake pads.
And for those shoes hiding in the back, 40,000 kilometers. Yes, they last longer. But please don't get complacent. If you ignore them and the shoes wear down to absolutely nothing, you get bare metal grinding on bare metal. That will shred the inside of the drum and turn a simple, cheap shoe replacement into an astronomically expensive, totally avoidable nightmare.
And this brilliantly illustrates why maintenance looks so different for both. Pads are a fantastic beginner DIY project. Grab a jack, some safety stands, a standard socket set, a C-clamp, and you can swap them out in under an hour. Shoes, however, yeah, leave those to the mechanic. Pop open that drum and you're staring at an absolute maze of confusing springs. If you mess up the adjustment even slightly, your brakes will either completely lock up on you, or worse, you'll have no brakes at all.
But whether you're enthusiastically wrenching on the pads yourself or tossing the keys to a pro for your shoes, always follow this absolute golden rule. Either way, never do just one side. Always replace in axle pairs. Never, ever just change the left front or the right rear. It will cause uneven friction and forcefully pull your car into the next lane when you stop. Always do both fronts together or both rears together.
So, I'll leave you with this vital question. Are you riding on modern discs all around, or are you relying on older drum tech out in the rear? I highly encourage you, as soon as this explainer finishes, go outside and peek right through your spokes. Your safety on the road literally depends on knowing what's stopping you. Thanks so much for joining me today, and keep learning.